Hola a todos. Hoy vamos a ver los diferentes usos del verbo parecer o parecerse. Today we will see the different uses of the Spanish verb parecer or parecerse. Parecer or parecerse is a useful, commonly used Spanish verb that, as is very often the case, doesn't have one simple English translation. It takes time to remember the various uses of Spanish verbs, to understand the subtle differences and when exactly to use one Spanish verb structure over another in any given moment. In this lesson, I will show you exactly how to use parecer or parecerse with many example practice sentences to help clarify my explanations. So let's get started. To talk about the appearance of something or someone, you use parecer. So if you want to say, Ana seems tired, then you'll say, Ana parece cansada. If you want to say, you seem younger than you are, then you'll say, pareces más joven de lo que eres. And if you want to say, you seem to be foreign, where are you from? Then you'll say, pareces extranjero, ¿de dónde eres? To talk about similarities, then you'll use parecerse. So if you want to say, Elena and Sonia look very alike, then you'll say, Elena y Sonia se parecen mucho. I look like my mother is, me parezco a mi madre. And if you want to say, my sister and I look very alike, then you'll say, mi hermana y yo nos parecemos mucho. To ask and give opinions, you'll use parecer with the third person of the verb with an indirect object pronoun. So if you want to say, what do you think of the film or of the movie? Then you'll say, ¿qué te parece la película? If you want to say, I think it is very entertaining, then you'll say, me parece que es muy divertida. And if you want to ask, what do you think of the party? To a group of people in a formal way, then you'll say, ¿qué les parece la fiesta? We also use me parece with an adjective after you use que and after you use the verb in subjuntivo to give opinion. So if you want to say, I think it's great that you are going to Barcelona. In Spanish you'll say, me parece muy bien que vayas a Barcelona. If you want to say, I think it's awful that Antonio hasn't studied at all. In Spanish you'll say, me parece fatal que Antonio no haya estudiado nada. If you want to say, I think it's fantastic that you have won the lottery. In Spanish you'll say, me parece fantástico que hayas ganado la lotería. And if you want to say, I think it's ridiculous that you get angry. In Spanish you'll say, me parece ridículo que te enfades. And if you want to say, I think it's excessive that Carmen and Jose are divorcing because of one argument. In Spanish you'll say, me parece exagerado que Carmen y José se divorcien por una discusión. To give opinion, you also can use me parece with an adjective and then a verb in infinitive. So if you want to say, I think going to the beach is boring. In Spanish you'll say, me parece aburrido ir a la playa. If you want to say, I think studying medicine is interesting. In Spanish you'll say, me parece interesante estudiar medicina. If you want to say, I think living in Spain is marvelous. In Spanish you'll say, me parece maravilloso vivir en España. If you want to say, I think going to that museum is interesting. In Spanish you'll say, me parece interesante ir a ese museo. And if you want to say, I think it's odd to swim in the sea in winter. In Spanish you'll say, me parece raro nadar en el mar en invierno. Let's talk in more detail about how to discuss and compare similarities in Spanish. If you want to say he or she looks like someone else, you'll say se parece a. So if you want to say Pedro looks like Brad Pitt, then you'll say Pedro se parece a Brad Pitt. But if you want to say that he or she is similar in something, then you'll say se parece en. So if you want to say Ana is similar to her father in character, then you'll say Ana se parece a su padre en el carácter. If you want to say that he or she is identical to a person, then you have different ways. You could say es idéntico o idéntica a, o es clavado o clavada a, o es igual a. So, for example, if you want to say Pedro is identical to his brother, then you'll say Pedro es clavado a su hermano. And if you want to say they are like two peas in a pod, then you'll say son como dos gotas de agua. So, for example, if you want to say Carla and her daughter are like two peas in a pod, then you'll say Carla y su hija son como dos gotas de agua. And if you want to say he or she doesn't look like someone else, then you'll say no se parece a. So, for example, María doesn't look like her mother is María no se parece a su madre. And he or she doesn't look like someone at all is no se parece nada a. So if you want to say María doesn't look like her mother at all, then you'll say María no se parece en nada a su madre. So that's all for today's lesson. As you can see, there are many different uses of the Spanish verb parecer or parecerse. Give yourself time to absorb them all and don't get too worried about remembering everything all at once. I have said this various times before, but I would like to repeat that you should be careful never to fall into the trap of trying to translate everything back word for word to your mother tongue. The most fluent and accurate foreign language speakers are those people who are open-minded and relaxed enough to leave their own language aside and ride the roller coaster of a new language wherever it may take them. You can, of course, set your own goals and limits and be very proud once you achieve a good level of speaking, writing, listening and reading. Que tengáis un buen día y hasta la próxima clase.